Order, please stand and give the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Delmas, Mr. Heinz is here. He's asked to lead us in prayer. You can stand up, sit down, whatever you feel most comfortable.
O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is your name in the earth, who have set your glory above the heavens. We ask you for your presence and your peace to be here in this meeting tonight. As our city board members labor with the agenda tonight, I ask for unity to be with the members, let clarity, understanding, and knowledge abound. Also protect our city and all who work on our behalf. I ask in Jesus' name. Now the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Treasurer's report. Oops. I have to do the, are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? I have two. One is going to be letter H under engineering. Discuss, approve, disapprove. This has to do with the ordinance, amending ordinance 2609, right-of-way permits. 2624 would be discussion. And then the last one is we finally have gotten quotes, whatever, for modeling and for things of this building. So I'd like to discuss, approve, disapprove, scheduling the next infrastructure committee.
Is that under new business or where is it?
Yep, under new business, letter G, sorry. Anything else? Mr. Walker, do you have anything?
No.
Mr. Rush?
Yeah, discuss park rental, letter H, under new business.
So that'll be letter H.
Thank you.
Case?
Nothing.
Motion to approve the amended agenda. Agenda is amended.
So moved. I'll second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Treasurer Down.
For the month of July, we have a beginning balance of $1,715,799.35. Receipts of $81,406.27. Disbursements of $344,741.62, leaving an unaudited ending balance of $1,452,464.
Treasurer. None, we'll move on. Public comment request. Joan, were there any requests to speak? Consent agenda.
I'll make motion to approve. Second.
Moving second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Planning items. Start with letter A. Discuss, approve, disapprove resolution 2620. Conditional use permit for vertical bridge Towers LLC at 28509. This was on the Planning Commission's agenda. They sent a recommendation to the council for approval. The council deliberated at the last meeting on this and decided to table it for a legal opinion on what the actual accounts were and what the language says, and if that was the proper decision to make. So, Mr. Rupi, you are here. You are the man of the hour. I will turn the floor over to you.
I agree with the planning company's decision to interpret that this company, a cell tower or Verizon Tower, is appropriate in that location. the terms, the definitions of, in the zoning ordinance, they have less than 24 residences in that area. And I didn't just take their map, I took GIS and I blew it up and I tried to make sure that we had the account, and I guess I agreed with Dan's interpretation of the ordinance and communicated that to him. I recommend that you, if you're going to do it, grant that with conditions.
Conditions that it was speculated to have before, or any added?
I don't have any added conditions, but whatever your planning commission and Dan is recommending for that conditional use permit or interim use permit, I recommend to you. But I don't have I can't tell you that they are not that they are not allowed in that area based on the language that you use in your zoning ordinance.
Mayor, city staff's conclusion is that the application does comply with the zoning ordinance. There was discussion at the July 1st meeting as to whether this is an appropriate location for a telecommunications tower. Unfortunately, that's not the question before city council this evening. The zoning ordinance makes this a conditional use within that zoning district, subject to specific standards. The applicants demonstrated, based on city staff's review, that they comply with those requirements, so there is an expectation on their behalf that the city will approve this permit. The next item on the agenda involves more the legislative side of the zoning ordinance to decide appropriate locations and standards for cell towers. Any action the council may take in that regard wouldn't impact any current applications, including this one, or affect any existing towers, either approved or in place within the city going forward. So again, concur with the city attorney, we recommend approval of resolution 26-10, subject to the 10 conditions as stated.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick question, Dan. So if any of these existing towers should go out of commission, they're no longer needing them or whatever, would then they fall back out of this, what you're talking about there?
So, Mayor, the existing ordinance provides that if a tower is decommissioned, they have to remove all the equipment. Once that equipment's removed, not used for a year under the zoning ordinance, the prior conditional use permits expired. So then if they came back, they would have to comply with new ordinances.
Okay, just want to clarify. Thank you.
And clarification for that, clarification would be.
Correct.
To not.
Because,
So, I
Mayor,
mean, literally, they could tear everything, decommission it, tear everything down, and 6 months later say, no, we want
yes, because conditional use permits run with the land, they would be treated as non-conforming structures. They have the ability to maintain that structure as it exists under its prior approval. If they want to expand that tower location, change it in a way that intensifies the use, then they do have to comply with any new regulations. So they can't make it any larger or any more intense, basically.
So if they wanted to put the same thing back, all under, within compliance.
Correct.
Well, what are the wishes of the council? The last meeting, the way that went down, we had a motion to approve. Really at a point where that was changed to table it to get a legal.
Mr. Mayor, just for further discussion, I think we should look at some of these other ordinances that are in other cities that are popping up, because this is a very unfortunate situation in my view. I know they met the ordinance. That's what the ordinance, we adopted from Sherburne County. But now, this passes, they're gonna be stuck with a cell tower in a residential area on 7-8 acres. Then we're gonna look at planning commission and go about revisiting what we see fit. So it's just a very unfortunate situation. Just to clarify, Mr. Rupi, if we disapprove it, we don't have any reason to disapprove it, correct?
Right. I believe the concern of the city council was that it was not in an appropriate area
Right.
as defined by your zoning ordinance. But your zoning ordinance was very clear. I mean, if it was a platted area, you can't, a cell tower was not allowed. Or if it was within, I think your ordinance was within 24 residential lots. But when you look at GIS and you graph it out, it literally, you don't have that restriction. So therefore, that is not a basis for it. And since they meet your other criteria for a granting of a CUP, if you did not grant it, there is a good chance, if there was a potential lawsuit filed, that a court would say your decision in denying it was arbitrary and capricious and overturn it.
And that's what I was looking to hear. So,
And the term arbitrary and capricious is used by courts when they don't like something. It's just a generic term, but it says you really don't have a basis for why you made that decision. Otherwise, you would have articulated it better, in their minds, in the judge's mind. My recommendation, unless there is, what you're supposed to do is, if you have a conditional use permit, you are allowed to put conditions on to mitigate any potential harm, but you can't just deny it, because you, as the government, when you created your zoning ordinance, you said that was a permitted use with conditions. And so that's why the recommendation to approve.
If we approve that now, is there any way possible to change some of that stuff in the future so it doesn't happen again?
If the question is, you've got 9 conditions that are being proposed, 10, and if that question is, can you change any of those 10 conditions in the future, the answer is no. Once the conditions are put in place, you can't change it. I know some communities put in as a condition that we can add more conditions later. It's like a genie, you get 3 wishes, well, one of my wishes is more wishes, and that's not allowed under the law. So that's a false reliance on that. So what you have for these conditions is what you'll be imposing on them during the term of the conditional use permit. Now, if they came for an amended conditional use permit because they wanted to intensify the use, modify it in some fashion, then obviously at that point in time, you can revisit it and you probably will be able to put more conditions on at that point in time.
just to clarify, this is specifically talking about this Verizon cell tower, no other
Correct.
CUPs coming up. Okay.
Would you run through the 10?
Mayor, the first condition, the subject property shall be developed in accordance with the site and building plans submitted to the city, subject to the stipulations, limitations, and conditions as approved by the city council in accordance with section 900-6 or 900-9-6 of the zoning ordinance. 2, the submitted plan shall be revised to illustrate the boundaries of the shoreland overlay district imposed upon the subject property. Proposed tower shall be located within the rear yard as defined by the zoning ordinance, subject to review and approval of the zoning administrator. The landscape plan shall be revised to provide for evergreen trees a minimum of 8 feet in height at not more than 20 feet on 5 feet on center, subject to review and approval of the zoning administrator. All new plants shall be guaranteed for 12 months from the date of planting is completed and shall be alive, in good health, of good quality and structural condition, and insect and disease-free at the end of the warranty period, or be replaced, subject to review and approval of the zoning administrator. Access to 128th Street, County Road 45, shall be subject to review and approval of Sherburne County. All signs shall comply with section 900-27-2.b of the zoning ordinance. All grading, drainage, and erosion control plans shall be subject to review and approval of the city engineer. 9, the tower owner shall maintain insurance in the amount of $1 million for personal and property damage and provide evidence of such coverage to the zoning administrator annually. 10, the applicant shall provide documentation to the zoning administrator that the lease for the telecommunication facility location, including revisions or renewals, requires removal of any used equipment within 12 months after operations cease.
I believe we need to update our ordinance ASAP, but I don't believe there's anything that we can do to deny this, so I'll make a motion to.
Is there a second? I will second that. Discussion? Guys, I understand you don't want it. We all understand. You have been heard. You've listened to this council struggle over this decision. And what I've said before is I do believe that if we were to say no, ultimately end up in court and a judge and overturn our no decision. Stuck then in the same situation. Tower would go in. Literally, we have a resident who's willing to lease their property for this particular tower. We have a tower company who wants to put a tower there. We have however that works by Verizon, so there it is. Even now through our legal staff, fresh set of eyes, if you will, at the decision we're making. Have no choice but to do this. We do have a choice. We could say no. We could not approve this. Basically, I think that would wind up. So with that in mind, is there any further? I do agree with everybody here, and the next thing on the agenda is to discuss this ordinance. Unfortunately, that would what we did. Also, too, at running into a 60-day rule once, and we wouldn't have time to revisit this back. That notwithstanding, after the fact. Therefore, if there's no further discussion, motion, I'm going to say, all of those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed at the same time. Rush.
Tough.
It's a tough decision. Established neighborhood and stuff. Tower thrown right in there.
The concern, Mayor,
Yes, please.
the concern I have, if you say no and they sue, one, they're going to sue for damages as well. Number two, there's no guarantee that when it goes to the court system, that they're going to impose all of the conditions that you want. And also, so there's just, anytime you go into the court system, there's always that little bit of uncertainty. We would hope that if a judge overruled our decision, which I think is pretty likely, said no, because our ordinance says you can have a cell tower in this area with conditions. We've got the conditions to be put in place. So therefore, I think a court would probably, I hate to say this, but it probably would say we were arbitrary and capricious in our decision. It was more of a political issue or emotional issue and not a legal issue, because any potential issues that we have, we could put anything we need to mitigate any harm, we can put as conditions. And so therefore, I can't tell you, because if you vote no, if this votes no, it's a tie, and the motion fails, and, because Jeff's not here. So the only other option would be to table this matter until Jeff could be here, be sort of a tiebreaker, and you'd have to watch the 60-day clock, because if we miss the 60-day clock, it's automatically approved. And if it's automatically approved, they would argue we didn't put any conditions because we didn't approve it. And if there's no conditions, they get their cell tower, and there's no guarantee that they're going to stay to the plans that they have already submitted, and we have conditions saying you can't modify from that without our permission.
Mr. Mayor, do you have a question for the mayor or for the attorney? Mr. Rupi, in your experience, when such things have gone to court and the damages, what are we looking for dollar amounts that the city would be liable for?
At least they'll ask for at least attorney's fees and costs because of this. There's any expectation of, if they can show damages for a taking that we took away their right, I mean, that's the uncertainty. I can't tell you because this is the first I've really given it thought, I don't, and I would hate to, I'm sorry to do this to you. I hate to talk about this in public because I am on video, and normally if we're talking about things about legal, I go into closed session and I'm able to give you guys full and fair and frank advice, but I can't do that in this situation. There is no pending lawsuit, but I do see a potential for one if this vote, and I understand exactly where you're coming from, but the ordinance is what the ordinance is. And I agree with Dan's comment, you can't change it for now, but you could put a moratorium on and then you have 1 year then from a moratorium to work towards modifying the language to something that is more palatable to the city. Something you inherited from the Sherburne County. This issue is the first it's come up. We've identified some concerns now, but you need time to revisit your ordinance, but you can't hold up these guys.
Regardless, if a lawsuit happened, there would be costs to all the taxpayers in the cities defending the city against that
You
lawsuit.
do have a deductible. It's not automatic. You're not automatically covered under the league. You pay a percentage, and I don't remember what that is, but there is a deductible. You would turn it over, if we were sued, we'd immediately turn it over to the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust, your insurance carrier. They would assign counsel, and that counsel would then take over and represent the city. But a proportionate share of the cost for attorney's fees and costs and will be borne by the city as part of your quote deductible. The other thing that's not an itemized cost that you would have is you will have potentially time for your engineer, for Dan, for myself, and yourselves for during discovery, because there will be, in any lawsuit, there's an exchange of documents, there's interrogatory questions you have to explain. These things take time to do, and the league's insurance company, a lawyer, is going to be looking for us to do it, and that costs time and money. So there's also additional costs just for that. I have a different lawsuit in another community, and the planner's time alone is quite large, putting all this stuff together based on all the interrogatory questions and the demand for documents and things. It's time consuming, and you have to be accurate because it's under oath and you're giving this to a court and somebody's going to be in court. So those are all kinds of costs in addition to any potential lawsuit. They are also asking for $100,000 for their time. They're claiming the 1983 case with a taking. Again, they're going to ask for the moon, but again, I can't say that the court would grant it, but I do think there is a good chance that the court may overturn your decision at a minimum.
Mayor. In addition, so you're faced with a situation where you may have a tie vote. So the 60-day rule states that if a motion to approve an application fails for any reason, those voting against the motion must state on the record why they voted against the motion. Concern that I think I would have along with the city attorney is that a reason to deny the application is city staff found that this application is in a residential area. It doesn't comply with the zoning ordinance. It is not a reasonable finding to deny the application to state you don't believe it's appropriate in this area. The zoning ordinance already sets out that it is appropriate in this area under these conditions. Again, the ordinance can be changed going forward because we're dealing with what Sherburne County adopted on a countywide basis, not looking specifically at the unique characteristics of Baldwin. So in order to, if you go forward with the motion that's on the table now and there's a tie vote, the motion fails, those voting against do need to state for the record why they voted no.
That'll be part of the record that the attorneys for the applicant will use to try and overturn our decision.
Mr. Mayor, quick question, Dan, when's the 60 days up?
Mayor, the 60-day date was extended to August 28th.
There is time where, I mean, I get it, don't get me wrong, but, I mean, unfortunately, he's not here.
What's it gonna change? That's my question. What's it gonna change?
I mean, for what it's worth, discussion purposes, my vote is not, by God, I want to plant a tower. Oh, our hands are tied. I'm talking now about putting
Understand.
the city in the right place.
Gonna cost the rest of the taxpayer the money as soon as we end up in court. I'm sorry, I don't like it either, but
I know, I checked it and they dotted their i's and crossed their t's and
so,
I just feel bad for the people.
well,
living there.
I feel bad too, but
But
are you
at
gonna
the same
put,
time, I know I've looked at, read stuff up and, yeah, they've sued company, or cities, and the cities have lost over the same things that we're talking about right now. It's just, hard, I know it's, if I don't know, if I say,
Rock
yeah, the
hard
company
place.
can go ahead and put it in and.
it's a rock hard place. I don't like it,
Yeah.
but I don't see why I don't see that we should put the rest of the taxpayers
Yeah,
liable for us wanting to dig in our heels on something we have no
Yeah,
legal
we don't
standing for.
have anything on it, I know, I checked.
I hate it, but there's a time, let's fix it going forward. I hate it, but let's fix it going forward. And if we dig in our heels, it's not gonna do us anything except make it worse.
Ordinances and things.
But in the future, I think. Oh, yes, on it then.
None of us are, Al.
Totally understand. We sympathize. Mr. Rush, you.
I will, yeah, I don't like it either, but due to what I've heard from our legal representation and Dan, our planner, in the litigations and the lawsuit, Al is right about that. I would move forward. I just think it's terrible.
Alrighty, all of those against it? Sign. Motion carries. Alrighty, letter B, discuss, approve, disapprove, request for quotes. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still finding it. Letter B, approve, disapprove, discuss, approve, disapprove, directing city staff to release a public hearing, preparing an interim ordinance establishing a moratorium on Mr.
Thank you, Mayor. So as we've discussed, the Baldwin zoning ordinance is essentially the Sherburne County zoning ordinance, which was adopted in April of 2022. Baldwin subsequently assumed responsibility for planning and zoning functions, but under statutes as a township, the town couldn't change its ordinances to be different than Sherburne County. Now that Baldwin is a city, as of November 2024, it's independent and can formulate its own regulations.
Could please,
These,
no, this is not a public hearing, ma'am. I'm sorry.
the statutes establish that cities can implement an interim ordinance to establish a moratorium for up to 1 year in order to study land use issues and formulate appropriate regulations, either through the zoning ordinance or other official controls. And that's what's on the agenda tonight for your discussion. The Planning Commission did discuss the issue of antennas and antenna towers at their special meeting last week. They obviously are concerned as a result of this and other potential applications coming forward under these same regulations as to the potential impacts to the city that may result. And so they voted 6-0 to recommend that the city proceed with the process to establish a moratorium. That process involves a public hearing, which we would hold at the city council at your next meeting on August 5th, and consider adoption of an ordinance to then give the city a year to study how to appropriately regulate cell towers within the city going forward. So what we're seeking tonight is simply direction to notice the public hearing for the upcoming.
I'll make a motion to approve having the public hearing for a moratorium.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? We had lengthy discussion at the planning commission. Moratorium to get a handle on this. Everybody agreed. Sending that. All right, so there's a motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Okay, ma'am, I'll give you 1 minute.
Okay, I just want to know how many acres this tower is going to be on, exactly?
Approximately 8 acres.
8.3, right?
Yes. Okay, let us see, schedule a joint meeting with the planning commission on August 12th to discuss cell tower ordinance revisions, these kind of things. Their next special meeting is August 12th, it would be a Wednesday. Thought to do that on the 12th or whatever and have a joint meeting again with the council. Talk about that. And then also too, we had some discussions about sidelines. So the planning commission has sent, well, both of them were no opinions, whatever, of a tie vote thing about side lot setbacks. So one was, it's 10 now, and one was a 6-foot setback, and then another one was a 7. Both of them the council approved. Commission is saying, well, you know what I mean, a variance is from a need, not a want, whatever. Plus, we also discussed in and around some areas, Dan had said actually, so I'm coining this from what he had said, you know, I mean, a 10-foot side lot setback, that's on a 2.5 acre. But when we get down to the tiny little properties in and around the lakes and some of the other areas, that same 10-foot setback, just in scale and nature, probably isn't the right. So the whole point, and this is all about, you know, let's make it less invasive for people to do on the properties. We don't have to, if we reduced it by some, whatever that is at that point, we'll have those discussions, you know what I mean? Then pretty much under that becomes kind of a hard no. I mean, we reduced it to this size because this was or, and then also too, to have a discussion on what that size is. All in for that, I would enter a motion to do this on the August 12th or whatever, to at least start a joint meeting with the planning commission.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion Alrighty, engineering, discuss, approve, disapprove resolution 2623. Construction plans, project specs. Resurfacing project. Amber, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So we were tasked with preparing plans and specifications for this year's microsurfacing project. We have completed those, brought our project manual tonight for council, and are asking in this resolution that council approve those plans and specifications, as well as letting us go advertise for bids so that we can get this project awarded and constructed. But before going into that, I did also create a brief design memo. I wouldn't mind going through with council quick, just kind of going through assumptions and design decisions we made during the process. So starting with just the microsurfacing, which is the bulk portion of the project, it was kind of discussed at the road workshop. These streets are in a condition where we think 2 lifts of the microsurface are needed. One's a scratch course, the other is a surface course. So all the streets, apart from the eastern legs of 306th Avenue and 308th Avenue, we will be receiving these 2 surfaces of the micro surface. 306 and 308th were asked to be taken off at the workshop from council. So then moving down to striping, some of the streets out there are currently striped. I believe Tom has this for discussion later on. We kind of made the decision just to not stripe any of the streets. Sounds like there's been residents that have mentioned in the past they're not too fond of the striping out there right now. We don't, in our experience, see striping a whole lot in rural residential streets. So if we leave the striping off, there will be cost savings for the city. Could be $30,000 to $40,000 if we decided to stripe all these streets. So as of now, as the plan and specs currently sit, we are not proposing striping. And again, that can be up for discussion here. But then lastly, we have 98th Street surface defects. So there's 2 90-foot sections on 98th Street, kind of the south portion of it. Tom and I looked at these as well when we drove the streets. They're kind of little surface defects throughout. Nothing too major, so we are requesting, or we're recommending not to do any extra corrections in that area, mainly because this is a maintenance project. If we were to do something in there, it'd probably be a 1-inch overlay or a milling overlay, and doing something as little as that on a project like this, you're not gonna get very good pricing for that work. So given that this street is getting 2 microsurface lifts, we think that'll be good as far as maintaining the road for the purpose of a microsurface, extending its life for 3 to 7 years. This just may be an area where we see the surface wear off the quickest. But just wanted to bring that area to everyone's attention too. And again, up for discussion if council would like to see additional work in that area, we can explore that. But as of now, we are proposing only the microsurfacing.
Mr. Mayor, if I may add on this, maybe kind of the agenda down further. So the striping, if we put that in there, it's gonna over a certain dollar amount. I'm not gonna say what that is, but that would extend the bid process from, you correct me if I'm wrong, from 10 days to 21 days. That's why I was leaning for not striping these developments
And
for that particular purpose.
are these just in like developments, or where are they?
Developments, yeah.
No, we don't need striping in development.
Yeah, these were the ones that we crack seal and chip sealed,
Yeah, we-
polyfiber last year.
No, I think that's, I like Blackwell tires anyway.
Yep.
Get and save us some money.
What are we doing on this project over here? That includes 7th and,
300, 299. I don't think we striped
I don't
that.
think we did.
No.
I don't think it was now.
has been in the past that we do stripe.
Yeah,
We have.
we have.
I think if it's like a collector road or something, I get it there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
On the neighborhood ones, no, people don't need that.
Yeah,
I might hear my wife again, scold me again.
And that's why it's here, you know, up for discussion. It's,
We have had people come in here and say, especially, we're talking about neighborhoods, I understand. But there still would be, regardless of that, passing in center stripes and things like that, where that's been a request. Done that where we marked the center of the road, but we just, you know what I mean? There was others that came in and said, of course, we've also had the other one. I think so. You guys want?
So yeah, so that bid process, because we're hoping to get, you know, the bids August 5th, but if we do include the striping, it possibly could push it to the next.
I'm fine with waiting on the striping if is it something that if we all of a sudden got the whole neighborhood wants it striped, come in, we could stripe it later. Doesn't mean we can't do it later. So why don't we just wait, save the money?
What are the ways?
Let's save some money.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the microsurfacing project.
I'll second it.
Bid, yes, sorry, yep.
yeah, so just again, we're asking bids, we're opening bids online. It'd be August 4th. Tabulate the bids, bring them to the August 5th meeting for approve a bid.
If like Al or Zach wanna in on that bid process, can you send out the link, or if any of us wanna
Yes,
be
I
on
can
that?
send it to everyone,
Okay.
whoever wants to.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
I did.
Next, letter B, discuss approve request for quotes for 2026.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So similar to the microsurfacing project, we were also tasked with preparing a quote packet for a crack sealing project at the June road workshop. So we have prepared that and are looking for approval tonight for us to go out for quotes. We would ask that quotes be due on August 3rd, so that again, we can have a list of quoters for the August 5th meeting for approval. This one is again, you know, pretty straightforward. I think we had discussions at the road workshop. Again, I did also put together a little design memo for this one as well. I can go through if council would like. So just the crack filling in general, it's about 9.5 miles of roadway. We will be doing the route and seal and blow and go methods. Seals, if it's 3/4 of an inch or less, they'll route it out before they put in the rubber sealant. If it's a bigger crack, bigger than 3/4 of an inch, or commonly existing rubber cracks, they'll just essentially clean out the crack before they put in the sealant. Then kind of towards the end there, similar, we had this language in our specifications last year. If there's alligatoring in the area, we will not be doing any routing because that'll do more harm than good. We ask that we just do the blow and go method, and if they're less than an 1/8 inch wide, so like the hairline cracks, we ask just nothing be done to them because you're just kind of wasting material and money at that point. So, yeah, so that's the crack filling portion. So the next, the other bigger portion of the job is the polyflex. So we measured about 470 cracks, and that's similar to what we'll be doing last year, apart from instead of using the pre-coated aggregate, we're just using a clean 1/4 inch aggregate to be placed over the polyflex sealant. And then we are giving the contractor the option to either shovel that aggregate on or mechanically kind of compress that into the crack. And I did discuss this with Zach, and he was kind of open to that. We've seen both options, both are successful, so we think we'll get better pricing if we kind of give that contractor the ability. If they want to do it one way, they can. If they want to do it the other, they
Mr.
can.
Mayor, I got a quick question.
Yes.
So Sam, with these projects right here, I take it the cost of like like seeing this through, like the inspection where we did it in-house last year for this. If we go to Hawkins and Anderson, is that a separate price from this?
Correct, yeah.
Do you know roughly?
Yep, and that's kind of on my item C. I kind of want to discuss that a little
Oh,
bit.
okay. Thank you.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, I kind of wanted to, I'll discuss more on that, but.
I'll make a motion to approve. Or to go out for
Yeah,
quotes.
I did the same thing. I'll second it.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Letter C.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Council. So to your question, Tom, so a price for that really depends on, we do by the hour usually, so it helps us a lot when we know how long the contractor thinks it's gonna take. So as quotes come in and as we get closer to accepting them, we'll probably reach out to the lowest, maybe lowest two quotes, try to get a rough idea of how long they think it'll take. That way we can come up with a better price to the city. But a reason why I wanted to put this on the agenda was to kind of get more discussion or thought from the city on what they would maybe expect from us, from administrating and inspecting. More so if, I guess, would the city want someone from our office out on site at all times when the contractor's out there? Or is it more maybe a check-in once a day, twice a day, check in on them, see how they're doing, make sure they're doing everything right? Either way, we'd be keeping track on the quantity still. Only because the price will be very different based off those options. If we have a guy out there full-time, every day they're out there, it's gonna be a higher price compared to if the cities would rather see something where we're checking in more, in and out, it'd be probably a lower price, so. Just something for us to consider as we're putting together a quote for inspection would look like.
When you gave us the number for last year's project,
Yep,
how did you figure
that was full-time, but that was only off 3 weeks too, which it ended up being more than that, so.
Well, and so for whatever it's worth, we want to, what happened last year never happened.
Sure.
So in a roundabout way, I guess I'm telling you, you got to tell us what we need.
Sure.
I mean, the other part of that is if you have a number, say you're going to go out there twice a day or whatever that is, you know what I mean? Ultimately, if we have somebody,
Yeah,
then this becomes less of a babysitting
Yeah.
adventure.
exactly.
But he was absolutely mucking things up, whatever.
Yep.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
How do you plan?
So it'd be better than to us present an option that would be almost the worst case if we had to have someone out there full time. Say we get a contractor that's just not getting it, stay out there more. I would think maybe that'd be the better price to present to council. And if we say we do get a better contractor, we don't have to be out there full time.
Reduce it.
Save some costs for this. That's why a lot of our projects, honestly, we don't get asked like quotes for our inspection because it's time based. We just, if we're out there, we're gonna bill it. If we're not, we're not gonna bill it. So if we think the contractor's doing a great job, we don't have to check in as much. We're not gonna bill you if we're not out there.
Sam, the other municipalities that you deal with, how do they mostly, do they fall on where they want you full-time, or is it the check on them? I'm just trying to see what kind of qualities there
Yes.
are out there.
So for a crack sealing job, I don't have the answer for that. But usually for like a road job that just happened south of here, when they're working, we're out there full time.
Okay,
But crack sealing's one of those, I don't wanna say minor, but it's more of a maintenance thing, you know.
right.
You could probably have that luxury to check in if you have a good contractor, not having to babysit them the entire time. And just make sure they're doing it right when you are out there, monitoring the work, keeping track on quantities, so it's kind of project dependent.
That answered my question, thank you.
Well, I mean, I would like to answer your question tonight with as required.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because I mean, if we don't have to babysit, then we won't.
sure.
But if we do, then we do.
Correct.
So
And-
maybe we need, and I don't know, gentlemen, if you agree or not, but if once we start to see the numbers come in and the time.
We'll know the vendor.
An educated guess.
We'll know the vendor and the references too,
Yep.
that they come with from other municipalities, the background on that. Because last year, I think it was a lot of going out there and They didn't know, you know, what, like, especially the poly. Sure. They didn't know, oh, we're supposed to do it this way, and that where the babysitting came in a lot.
Hopefully we don't run into
Yeah.
that, because everybody.
Yeah, I think that this has been a good discussion to help us.
No, I mean, so if that's good, I think once we open bids, we'll have the discussion at that point in time, or, and
Yeah, yep.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
okay, that's discussion. Approve, disapprove. 2026 street.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So this is just the next pay estimate for the roads right down the street here for the 2026 street reconstruction project. This is pay application number 2, so it's the work that was performed in the month of June. Looking for approval on this to get TS Dirt Work paid for the work they have completed. So the amount due this application would be $91,728.20.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? In full, right? I mean, this is, they're done, they're good. We got a warranty left, whatever. Right?
They basically gotta get their grass to grow, and then mailboxes are coming early next week. So we still hold on to a 5% retainage, which is a little over $13,000. As we see this kind of grass come in and get those mailboxes installed, we probably be a pay application in the month of August for the mailboxes, and once we see better establishment out there, then we can start talking about final payment, final acceptance, so.
Motion to approve.
I second it, yes.
Further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All right, Larry, discuss,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So, we were asked to provide construction cost estimates for chip seal construction after 2 weeks ago meeting. So we kind of took, the city had sent us mapping for the roads they were thinking, as well as specifications the city's used in the past. So using that, as well as specifications we have used on past projects and pricing we've seen on past projects, presented a kind of cost per square yard for chip sealing. So if you have a gravel roadway receiving a chip seal, it's about $11.50 per square yard, just because you're putting down more material as compared to a road that already has a chip seal, which you're looking closer to be $5.90 per square yard. So we were able to kind of come up with a preliminary estimate based off the square yardage of roads out there for the maps that were provided to us. Using those numbers, we came up with approximate cost of $170,890 to do this chip sealing project. It's kind of that last paragraph on my memo there is just explaining these costs and quantity should be considered preliminary with the time and resources we had. We don't have surveys of all these roads, so we can't dial down an exact square yardage. So using kind of the GIS systems we have available to us is how we're
okay, now,
590?
Yeah.
this was just asked for a cost. So
yeah, that's what I was informed, was to provide a construction cost, so.
This would just be
Estimate.
coating over top, fix the bad spots first. Engine.
We can use the 590. All existing, been done in the past.
Yeah, parts from a couple of them,
Yeah.
South Sandy. They weren't exactly labeled on West Elk Lake, but I'm assuming those.
Those are all done.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm fine with it, looks good. Just a discussion. so.
Yeah, at this point in time, it's just discussion.
Yeah.
Mayor, I got one quick question. So Sam, if For this, if we go, kind of approve this, because don't these plants close on the 15th of September?
Correct. Yep.
So kind of up if we want to do it or not, that time frame.
And I'm gonna just put it out, I don't know if council's expecting us to do it, but if we are, I mean, we're gonna want plans and specs. Then we gotta go out for, if this price is around 170, probably looking at going out for bids. Regardless, we gotta go out for quotes, so that takes time to see the quotes. I mean, we're talking exactly 2 months till September 15th, so we need time to prepare the plan specs. I guess what I'm getting at is I don't know if there's enough time for us to do it. It may have to be similar to last year, city-led. Projects were to get done.
I just wanted to, with the plants closing on the 15th, because we kind of ran against that time frame.
Yeah, last fall.
The other part of that too, though, is numbers for some rather
Come in before.
you know what I mean? Something like that, you know what I mean? Pretty thin, which is a good thing, but there it is.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
All right, letter F, discuss resident meeting date at 303rd Ave. And the question, this was 303rd, this was the plan. The question that previous was, we have something to show the residents of what we're trying to do. And/or have some kind of an idea of how many residents are gonna be affected and what that effect would be.
Yeah, so I think Mayor Council, this was, I think last meeting, we decided either the 20th or 27th. 27th worked better for us, and yes, we would probably have a presentation with visuals similar to what we did for the 100th and 297th. Bring in some poster boards too of third itself with an aerial, throw some colored lines on there of where the proposed roadway edges would be, and new right-of-way lines so residents can see just how far easements we would be asking for, so. But again, the 27th is what worked better from us between those two dates.
July 27th,
Correct.
that's 7 PM, you said?
Yeah, whatever time.
7 PM that day, or you want to do it earlier?
7 PM would be good, because it'll allow them to get
Going through Zim?
the day. All right, is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Resident meeting date, and then this would also include sending the letters
Yes.
out. Yeah. Would that be? Caucus and Anderson?
We can do it if the city would like, it doesn't matter to us.
I think Joan and Kayla can't they? There's only like, what, several, 8 houses, right? On there? Was there that many?
Properties, I don't know houses, but you'd probably want to send it to every property. I think, yeah, again, we've done it before, so. The city would like to handle it. Yeah, I just gotta be told what to do.
Joan, what do you think? You
I don't mind sending them out if you prepare the letter.
Sure.
Because
Let's do that then.
engineering,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Jargon.
like, yeah, whatever
Okay,
the-
all right.
the project is
Sure.
gonna be more easily.
Yeah, that way I can just draft it, send it right to Joel, and I don't have to work through administration staff, so.
Cut the middleman. Okay. All right.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Looking outside now. We got tie vote, you gotta break it.
Motion and a second to approve whatnot. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I was gonna, what am I voting to approve?
The meeting for the 103rd or 303rd.
Oh, okay.
July 27th, 7 PM.
That's fine.
All right, letter G, discuss, approve, disapprove ordinance 2026-09, amending ordinance 100. Bob about that or whatever?
We've all had our hands in this, so this is a group effort.
Yeah, we're gonna blame it on you though.
I know, and that's why I took
It was
extra time
working
and
just
consideration.
fine Prior to that.
Well, my contribution to this is what happens if it doesn't go fine and somebody does, the parts that I changed on this to add into this right-of-way ordinance was mainly to add a whole section here about giving a lot more teeth to restoration and financial guarantees. And so I talked more, I added the language about city restoration or the permittee restoration, whichever we elect, not the applicant. Financial security, what's that look like? And we determine that. Is it a cash escrow because it may be small enough? Is it a performance bond if that's something that you would feel comfortable with that applicant to grant? Or is it a letter of credit? And if it's a letter of credit, what are those terms, just like we would in a developer's agreement? We want to be able to go back to the applicant and say, no, our ordinance mandates that you use our language. And then what happens if they fail to restore? And so I added a language in that, in addition to just some generic ordinance language that we normally would see. But that was my contribution to, basically to this, was to give some teeth. If the city decided, given who is coming to work in the road right-of-way, that they wanted a contract with them, that they had this ability from the ordinance to require that. If they wanted a cash escrow or other type of security, they had the ability to require that of an applicant and had a basis for denial of the permit if they would not provide that information. It's just under the category, if most of the time, I have to say, I don't get called about these unless for Excel, the bigger utilities, they're very good about this stuff. They do, they come in, they do the work, and they restore, and they move on. Where I get involved, it seems like, is fiber optic. It seems like every time I hear about a fiber project, oh my gosh, it's always a problem. And I know they did fiber in my neighborhood a few months ago, and now the electrical company's in there ripping up everything and restoring everybody's electrical lines because they damage stuff. So again, the damage to the road right-of-way, I just wanted to give you the ability, you don't always have to, but the ability to require when you're consulting with Sam, and Sam says, this is a bigger job, I would recommend to you that we do something more formal, or they're gonna be here for a long time. Let's do a contract, sort of like a road use agreement, where you're going to put up security. This gives you the legal basis for requiring that. That's what this is all about. So those were the changes that I made to this document. And then Sam went through this and changed some of the old language that is kind of out of date, talking about excavation permits. Really, that's not what we are doing now, bringing this more into the 20th century. And so we would recommend that you consider adopting this ordinance. If you have any questions about any of the specific language, Dan, Sam, or I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
If anybody's out digging in our road right away, they have to dial 411. So, and that is gonna be on them by forcing them. If we did a contract or we did anything specific with anything, would the city be taking on any bonus of the fiber optic that gets overlooked something?
So if the question is,
Question is, are we
fiber
taking
optic
on-
goes out there and they destroy somebody else's utility lines, then that's between the utility company that's lines were damaged and the utility company that did the damage.
Okay, and then by doing this contract or changing the ordinance to this, We're not taking on any of the onus of that responsibility.
No, what this is if fiber optic company came out and damaged your road right of way and did not restore it to at least the condition it was in before, then what do I have to work with when you call me mad and say, we want you to go after them? And so I added language in here that I thought would make that easier, but I also know that in some of these cases, it's like development. You know, we usually don't have a problem with developers because we have a contract with them and we have a letter of credit. We have their money. If you don't do it, we give you time, we give you notice. If you default under the terms of this, we are going to collect on your letter of credit, your security, and we'll finish it ourselves. And so for some of these projects, when they're much bigger, or it's a company that maybe we don't have, you've heard about in other communities, we may say, no, you don't just get a sign off. You need to actually enter into a contract with us. You need to provide us with a cash escrow or letter of credit or a bond, whatever's in the election of the city. Guarantee that they actually perform the restoration work. But that is our work, our restoration, our shoulder, our gravel, our bituminous, you know, that stuff. If the company that gets the permit goes out there and damages another utility, because other utilities have the right to use, under state law, they have the right to use our road right away. If they do damage to another utility company's lines, that's for those two to work it out. We don't guarantee. You might get called about it because people will say, hey, my electricity just went out when fiber optic was being put in, or my internet went out, and, you know, all these things happen, but that's not on you from a liability point of view.
Okay, because, I mean, we've been through this before generally, you know. I think there was a couple of them in the last week or two. Across and prior to that, we had nothing. So now, basically, what we have written, the way it's written, whatever, it says that they need to restore conditions, if you will, whatever, that they're responsible for that. When we have Connexus that comes in doing a service, lines into a new house, it's not in housing development. They'll call up, they'll fire the application off, and I'll take a look at it and say, yeah. Include do it. Some years ago, and you guys remember this, NITCO came through and said, no, refresh all of our fiber optic. Then we've got Bob involved and Rupi involved, whatever, anyway. This is a way different scenario than just electric into a new house, or the Midco into one. And then we did a citywide, you know, we had, you know what I mean? And now there was escrow and there was all kinds of things. You know what I mean? The question I have here now is, because the next thing on here is turning it over to me to continue kind of as was. So part of this explanation, this part of the contract is, if I see that it's going to be much larger, I'm saying I'm doing it. Even in the past, if I see that it's going to be a much larger endeavor than just bringing in a new cable to one house, whatever, that I would think would be, you know, in the contract.
It basically would launch two things, the way I've written the delegation of authority resolution. And that would be when your alarm, when the hairs in the back of your neck are rising and you say, wait a minute, something's different here. That's when I would fully expect you to be talking to Hawkinson Anderson, talking to Sam, and getting his advice on what is needed on a case-by-case basis to address, because some companies may be doing the exact same work as some other company, but they have a really bad reputation. They have a history. Sam knows from other communities. I've heard about them from other communities. Dan's heard about them. and we would get, hey, ooh, red flag here. This one, we may want to have a financial security of some form. And how much that financial security, I don't know that you'd realistically be able to come up with, but Sam and his office could. And that's, so, it's sort of, that's why the way I've drafted this, it goes with the mayor as the, not to you personally, but whoever is occupying the seat of the mayor, in consultation with the engineering firm. As required. It's not every time, but when you look at it and you see, then you can contact the engineers, and then this changes to this ordinance would then give you that teeth to say, no, I'm not signing that permit until you do X, Y, and Z.
And just for context, I mean, the last time we had a problem, they were called mini Gasco. Right, you know what I mean? So we usually have Connexus Energy, sometimes we would have Midco or these types of things. These are just the folks that are in our ditches. My whole fear of doing this was making some, send everybody down every time. Rather uneventful. I think what the trigger was for this is Windstream that came in. Suddenly they had a larger project, automatically went to Hawkinson Anderson. I didn't even know that it was happening, right? So it became out of the norm. It wasn't wrong, nobody did anything wrong, right? You know what I mean? But this gets it all in there, so when that happens, it's considered by us to be the right thing.
So, Mr. Mayor, so for the, make sure everything's put back to place, is that Hawkinson Anderson that you're gonna go inspect to make sure that the slopes of the ditches are correct? Or is staff taking pictures, make sure for documentation purposes something is out of whack, you know, on a big project?
If it is a normal utility, you know, somebody's hooking up a line,
Yeah,
we're not gonna go out and do that. But where you get a company that has a history, you know, where all, you know, the one I'm using, the hairs in the back of your neck go up. You've got warning bells are going off. Then yes, in situation like that, where we're concerned, then I think that's where the mayor and Hawkinson Anderson need to talk. They need to then decide if they're going to get me involved if they need to, because on some projects, I have done a contract, a road right-of-way permit agreement, where it says you're going to restore it. And we would get, and Sam's done this for us for other projects, go take photographs and stuff. So we have somebody that could testify, this is what it was like in the before. And when the damage occurs, those agreements that I've written, typically it's presumed that they are the ones that did it, unless they can prove otherwise. So the presumption under the terms of the contract is they did that damage, which makes our burden of proof easier in court if we had to take them that far. The other thing that we want is to have that kind of language so that we can then utilize their security. That's where the cash escrow, the bond, or the letter of credit comes in, because I'm not going to go fight with you. Well, it wasn't me. Well, yeah, it's presumed to be you, and we're going to take your money and we're going to finish the job because you didn't restore. So that's not every time, but that is on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
And where I have to get involved, I would suggest you do have Sam or somebody that's willing to be a witness in court to be able to lay the foundation for the photographs. Because I could take the photos, I could go out there and do it, but I need somebody else there to be able to say, yes, on this date, these photographs were taken, and this is a true and correct representation of what was at the scene when the photograph was done. Lay the foundation for it. I can't do that as your lawyer and be your attorney at the same time. So it usually doesn't pay to have me go out and do it. Somebody like Sam or Zach or somebody to go out there and do it.
that's what I was gonna say, due to, the distance, maybe if you run into that, Public Works can take it and then forward those over to Sam. So we have something if it comes up like that.
Totally agree with that. And, you know, case in point, a year or two ago, whatever, we added a 480 service at Shell. This was their permits, this was all that kind of stuff, actually. It was so they came with the backhoes, they came with the crew, they dug the ditch, they hooked up the lines, they put in my service, graded everything out. The next day, grass seed and all that stuff. That's the normal stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But so what we're gonna do still though, on every one of them, is have a record signed by, we'll have a record that these people were in the ditch doing this at the time. Then that also says that you need to restore accordingly, whatever. Way to go back after.
And that's this ordinance is written for worst-case scenario. And that's what I have to anticipate. So that if you get a large company like CapEx 2020, Mincan, all these different pipeline companies and stuff that I've had to deal with around the state, you know, in those situations, we had very detailed contracts with them and securities and stuff and timelines and things like that because it was such a big project. But for the most part, it's gonna be small, but your language protects you from if some other project, a large one comes in, or somebody that you has a history of possibly not restoring properly. That gives you some basic rights to be able to show them the ordinance and say, we will enforce our terms.
And I think the big thing to add is it's per the city's request. City, if you feel like this isn't right, this is a bigger than just a simple house connection, get us involved.
And I guess my whole intent would be if ITCO came in, they're coming up now, but they came in and said, we want to redo these whole 2 neighborhoods with our fiber optic, I'm gonna say. Much larger project. I'm talking about the simple ones, you know, we've got Andy's Electric that's going. Approved, the lot's been cleared. Well, pretty soon we're gonna have a right of way. That's the things I'm talking about, that are daily things that are.
So every permit will go to you still, and then you will tell us
Yes.
if they need to go to engineering, and if they go to engineering, per our fee schedule, it would be $500, correct?
I would think just any permit would be. That's the way I see the fee schedule.
Well, if it's coming to you, we're gonna expect that you're gonna have more involvement in it than just to get paid. You know what I mean? So, and maybe we need plan again, whatever, it's gonna be way more.
Right. This ordinance does not adjust your fee schedule. This ordinance just adjusts the language that's contained in ordinance number 100.
We don't charge them right now.
Correct, there's no charge at this point. For one, I would continue in that same manner. But if we have to get you involved, then we're gonna ultimately say, part of the permitting process is what those fees might be, what the escrows might be.
Starting out, you would do the $500, and then he would.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second it.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say by saying
Aye.
aye. Motion carried. Alrighty, letter H, yeah. Letter H is gonna be discuss, approve, disapprove resolution 2624, which now allows us to look at.
And yes, and as we've discussed in the past, all authority comes from the council. So so arguably permits need to be approved by the city council. That's not effective, it's not cost effective, it's to have somebody wait to the next city council meeting, it just doesn't quite make sense. So I have prepared a resolution delegating authority to issue certain public right-of-way permits to the mayor. And that goes with as drafted, does not go to Jay Swanson individually, it goes to the mayor. And this is a resolution that if you don't believe the mayor is adequately protecting your interests, then you could always revoke this authority. This is not something that's set in stone, but this is kind of how you've always done it, so I'm giving formal structure to it, so that this protects the city and it protects the mayor.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is Frontier Trails update. And this is 2026 wastewater operation summary. Somebody jump in if you want to. Looks to me, I can read this verbatim, I don't know that we need to. In the NSU reports, there's no glaring stipulations. I have not had a chance to talk to him about
Telemetry.
the telemetry units yet. Still on hold at this point in time. Then discussing the revenues and expenditures of Frontier Trails. Basically, what we're doing is we're doing this every year, whatever. We had revenues, or every year, every month of $75.95, just so that everybody can see. In $795, and we spent $6,000. And this is just.
Currently, Mr. Mayor, the cash balances are $43,411.
All right, road report, Mr. Walker, Public Works report.
Road report, had a busy time here. We put 28.92 tons of batch material down. We got one tree that needs to be cleared over on Elk Lake there. And it's too big. I believe it's just way too big for our guys to do it. I think we.
Is that the one in new business?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
But EMS signs have been installed and plow damages have been repaired out at Frontier Trails. That's about it. Just the new lawnmowers, they said thank you for the new lawnmowers. They really appreciate that.
Delivery of it.
Yep. And otherwise, the 550 and all the other equipment has all been serviced and new oil and lubed up and everything, so that's about all I got.
Ready to rock? Letter B, discuss, approve, disapprove micro.
We kind of touched base earlier with that project. That sounds like the majority were not gonna go ahead and do it at this time.
This is just project striping.
Yes,
So
that cost differential that mentioned earlier.
Okay, so at this point in time, because it's on the agenda,
I'll make a motion to disapprove it.
second,
I'll second it.
motion is second. Any further discussion? This is just. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Table items, I'd like a motion
I'll
to
make-
table this again.
I'll take it out to August 5th, or you need more time?
Yeah. Second,
I'll second.
Motion and second. Discussion? Favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Letter B, disapprove eliminating direct deposit payroll, Mr. Rush.
Yeah, I talked to the fire department. They're okay with that. So it was brought up to check with them last meeting.
Was a concern.
It costs us extra right now to do it because you get a monthly charge and we only do it twice a year and we still get the monthly charge. That's why we talked about eliminating. Until we get if it ever happens where you have a bigger amount.
Motion to approve eliminating it?
I'll make a motion to eliminate.
I'll second.
Yeah, is there a second? Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Letter C, discuss.
Yes, I was gonna talk to Sam about that. I'd like to see a survey done out there, because a lot of them people out there are not sure where the line is gonna be.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, we went around and we talked to them, and everybody was concerned about
yeah. The
where
actual-
it was gonna end up at because of trees and fences and.
Yep, so that was, or Tom called me on that, I also discussed with Jay a little bit on, so we came up with a price for that, what that would cost. Kind of sent it over to our survey department, they think it'd probably be about 20 hours of field work, so including that, cost of equipment, mileage, and then kind of office work to get any point computations put together for when they're on the field to stake. We're looking at about $6,230. So this would include placement of not only the right-of-way stakes, but if we're also asking for drainage and utility easements or temporary construction easements as well along both sides of 100th Street. Majority of the lots are 300 feet wide, so they'd get a stake at each property line, one in the corner. If it's a larger lot, they'd probably get it every 200 feet. And then in wooded areas, we'd probably do every 100 feet to give people a better visual in the woods. It's not more spaced out. And yeah, so that's the price we came up with, and if council did approve tonight, we could probably have it staked by the end of the month, July 30th, so.
Sam, if we moved forward with this project, we'd have
If it was requested by like the contractor, yeah, maybe.
so, I mean, it's not that we, the only thing I guess I'm saying is we would be doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, earlier than we maybe would need to. Put people a little.
Yeah, it's,
I'm not being very clear in what I'm saying. In other words, spending the $6,200, and we had discussed, remember at the last meeting, once we knew this number, we'd have a discussion on what we thought at that point in time was put the stakes there so that we could either have another meeting or this is exactly where,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Better understanding where it is. Anyway, and then if we did this, to me, this was kind of the ultimately, if we prove this, stakes go in, still balk.
Yep.
We think we have all of those. So basically what this is to give a visual. Doing this to create a visual for the people. And I guess what I'm trying to say is some portion of this, if not all of it, would need to be done anyway.
yeah, a lot of the times they ask for it when they're.
Similar to what we did on 305th out here. Where we
Yep.
right?
Whether I can say, I don't know if these stakes would make it to next summer, so
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, if somebody knocks them down or.
there still may be some up, so.
I think it's worthwhile to do it, get it done, and maybe some people will decide, okay, it's not as much as I thought or whatever. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Discussion? Hearing none, all
Aye.
opposed, same sign.
I oppose. Yep.
New business, discuss expenditure procedure for continuing.
Yeah, this was brought up. We approved Zach to go to a class earlier, and that class has already been filled up because there's only 30 applicants, but I just don't think it's, to get the certification, you need 5 classes to get the cert, but I don't think we should have somebody. We should, if we're gonna have a policy where our deputy clerk or anybody goes, even like the fire department, too, that they shouldn't have to pay up front for that courses or stuff like that.
I'm not opposed to that. I think it's a good idea. I do think if they don't pass the course, of course, they need to reimburse us. That's something that we're going to pay for their class. They need to pass it. I think we need a list of the classes that this city are approved to, for employees to go to, depending on their area, For instance, whatever the clerks would do, whatever Public Works would need. Firefighters, I think the only thing is EMT, because most of the other classes can get reimbursed through the state on the fire training. And I don't know if there's any reimbursement options through Public Works or.
So quick question, Scott, so if the fire department, if a firefighter fails, do they pay?
They have to pay back, or if they don't complete the class, which Joan can attest to, that they've had to pay back. That was my policy that I got approved over here a couple years ago and pushed
Some of
through.
those classes, what are the costs of those classes?
Well, the EMT class is almost $2,000 now. But if the ones where they didn't even get going, there was the company was okay with a 350, that was it. So then we got reimbursed there. The other classes tend to be like, FAO class was, I believe that was a $500 class, thing like that. They don't pass the practical, they don't add all the other stuff. There's a mechanism over there to pay, get reimbursement for education through the state for firefighter training. That's part of the money that you pay the insurance company, firefighters trained. So that comes over, and Joan saw them all the time when I would send those over to get reimbursed. And
Well, and also too, I think that comparing the fire department to employees and things like that, when people come to us, they're either coming to us with the knowledge already, or what they're really saying is, teach me to be a firefighter. So, and that's the nature of firefighting. So to have them willing to come in and do this, pass it, I think that's legitimate. But when we talk about this right here, what's brought this up, you know what I mean? This was a $3,750 expenditure that was going to take several weeks of classes and those kind of things to do. So that was up to $750 after certification. Walker seconded the motion, and the motion. That's what started all. What I'm talking about is, we have continuing education. We have seminar that Joan going to that's going to be or possibly over a week. I think the costs to those are rather minimal. That's something that persona, after these 2 days of this continuing education, an asset when we're starting to talk about things here, but when we're starting to talk about things here that are gonna take multi-weeks or months, whatever, to do, I wanna see buy-in from our employees. I wanna see buy-in from our employees that they do believe that, this is what they wanna do. Go out and do these things. If they successfully pass it and we have the discussion in the beginning, yes, I think we'd be willing. The other side of this too is reimburse them for what? For having taken the class? Or reimburse them because we know that we're going to get some asset of some sort. Done that. So, I mean, if somebody's gonna pay, I worked in an outfit, whatever, and it was a VOTEC class, 15-week class, whatever. And I had to pay. They were more than willing to pay for it, but to reimburse me after I passed. This was realistic. So this is nights, this is off time, this is way more than what we could expect to happen. And literally, we watched whatever with the operator's license for the city and others as well, and the taxpayers have funding into money for that to happen. Several months of having done that, years, whatever, then it was decided, don't want to do that. So and that came from, partially from the maintenance department, partially from the road people and council continuing to do that, and that's what the decision was. So if we're going to do that, myself, I'm just saying, I want to see buy-in from the employees. We're going to do a 2-day seminar, you know what I mean? Because they can also get some things like for the Cloud Expo, when they do the expo, classes they can sit through. These kind of things, you know what I mean? To enroll them for the day class, I don't have a problem. We're talking about something like here. I haven't even begun to talk about, well, guess what? You know what I mean? If we're going to pay for this education, whatever, you know what I mean? Then you're on the hook for working.
Could we, I have two thoughts on this. If we get a list of, in all the job titles, what classes would benefit, long-term benefit the city and the employee. And if it's under $1,000, total cost, that's something we just come to the council and approve, blah, blah, blah. But the other ones, when we're getting into the multiple $1,000 ones, I think then we have to seriously consider what we're doing and what they're going for, because that's going to be, if we go down that road, that's going to be a overhead expense that is always happening with every employee. So what are we looking at? I think continuing ed's a great thing. Again, the fire department does a continuing ed all the time. They have to. That's some of the stuff in order to keep up on it, and I'm good with that. I just almost all those things are under, except for the EMT, are under $1,000. When you get hired over there, Fire 1, Fire 2, hazmat are paid for by the state. So if they pass the class, they reimburse us. The state does. So that's a wash. It doesn't cost the city anything. Again, classes beyond that, that's a different scenario. So I think it's just a good idea to get the list of the classes and where our approximate costs are. EMT, absolutely. I think they need to have a reimbursement, a buy-in kind of deal.
Mr. Mayor, may I? For Frontier Trails, that was paid by the the Frontier Trails Association of those 41 homeowners. So for that, that's a whole different can of worms, but I know where you're going. But I mean, for Public Works to go ahead, and yeah, it's $750 at five classes, get certification. But for an employee, I understand the fire department has 2,000. Bob, you can chime in on this from a HR perspective.
1,000,
You know, for the fire class, the firefighter 1 and firefighter 2.
the state pays for that.
Yeah, but I don't think we should just have one in Public Works be able to pay like $37.50 up front plus hotel and everything else. I mean, that's quite a burden of expense where we don't do it for the fire department, even though they get state, or we don't do it for the clerk and deputy clerk. I'm just looking for fairness across the board. Because I think you go down a fine line where, you know, from a HR perspective, I'm just saying, you know, that you're targeting, you're discriminating on
Well,
basis.
the fire department, if they go to fire schools, they pay for that prior and then get reimbursed for their hotel and all that kind of stuff, if I remember right, because they turn in a reimbursement form.
I mean, I understand.
I understand where you're coming from, but that's also a big expense for putting on taxpayer long-term. I think, I'm a big proponent of continuing education. I think it's a great thing, and I think we should look at it. But I don't think we just arbitrarily approve spending $4,000, they can just do $4,000. Give us the classes that they can do. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Find out what classes they want to do. And let's get a list of that, and then let's see what this city looking at are willing to pay for. I'm not saying that I don't think they need to pay the complete amount, but I think there needs to be a buy-in that they're, you know, kick in some portion of that cost. You know, doesn't have to be a huge one, but it's some portion to finish it, and if you if you finish it, you get reimbursed for that. So if it's $3,000, let's say it's $3,000, you kick in $500 and the city picks in the rest. You got buy-in, you get done, you complete the class, we reimburse you the $500. But otherwise, you know, you just took a class that's gonna cost us $3,000 and you didn't pass it and we're out the whole thing. There has to be some sort of buy-in in that respect. I'm not saying they need to, from my point of view, I'm not saying they need to pay the whole amount. But, you know, I think there's plenty of college students out there that would love if every business would pay for their continuing education going on. Some places they do, not all the places they do. And I think that's something, we just need that list to see where we're at.
I mean, for the buy-in perspective, yes. I mean, for networking with other public works and that, these classes come in highly recommended, so, but I'm just looking to be fair across the board, is my main point.
Personally, I think if he takes the classes and we paid for it, just like you said, if he didn't finish the class, he would have to reimburse us back.
How do you force them to reimburse us back? I'm just saying.
Well, if it costs so much,
I would prefer that thing where they pay a portion of it up front, because you're gonna take it out of their salary? You know,
You can't take it out of their check.
You can't take it out of their check.
It's illegal.
Let's set up a policy.
Yeah, set up a policy, we'll reimburse a certain amount once the course is completed and you provide us with the certificate of completion, whatever that looks like, then that's the way that you would have, quote, that buy-in. You can't take it out of their check after the fact.
Well, and ultimately, that's what I had said here, and that's just that. As you pass the class. So, and the caveat to that, whatever, is, you know, we still wouldn't know. Obviously, we had the conversation on what the class was gonna be. We approved him going to the class. Along, end of story. If that really is truly gonna be a benefit for the person in the city, anybody concerned. You know what I mean? Now, if we're gonna send them to but like the continuing edge things that they have at Expo and things. If the sign up fee was this is a 2-day seminar, classes they want to go to, they will have chosen the classes they want to go to, we'll sign them up for them, they'll go to them. That's easy. That's not what this was. This was gonna be a continuing education program. So, and if it's gonna be a long-term program, then I believe that we need to have. If they're gonna do this says in earnest, they're gonna at least go to the classes. If they don't pass.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have a problem with that. I'm thinking we have to have policy because this has to apply for everybody, not just Public Works. But if Joan wants to take $1,000 class, I don't expect Joan to pay $1,000 out of pocket, whatever that limit is. I mean, that was the motion for him to pay
I agree.
money up front.
I agree with the policy. I think you need to adjust it because the fire department's gonna be a different ballgame. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
what is required over there and what is required by the state
Yep.
to have. I think there's gonna be, I think this is a policy, if we can get, maybe we get some copies of policies from other cities on what their continuing education reimbursement policies and all that. If we get some copies of that and take a look at what maybe they have improved classes. Let's look at that before we dive into this and approve paying for stuff. Let's see where we're at. See, why reinvent the wheel? Let's find some stuff and make a policy that works off of what they got, because I don't think we need to write a policy from scratch. Let's grab somebody else's and.
I don't disagree unless we have discrepancies with
Yeah.
what that is. Bob, what do you know about
And they're all over. Everybody has, for the most part, most policies that I see are you want to go take a continuing ed class, you have to come and get that pre-approved by the council or the town board, whoever the governing body is. Some of them do have a cost share. Most of them probably don't. For majority, what I see. But it's something that they have to pre-approve. And I have not seen any policies where you have to show us a completion certificate that you have successfully completed the course. I think most of these are more like seminars where there is no, you pay for go to the seminar for a day or two. There is no documents that, show that you successfully completed something. You don't get a certificate or a degree or something like that. So I think if you're looking at something like that, and that's a major expense because you're getting somebody an operator's license or something like that, then yes, you could make that your policy.
Hey, I hate to bring up where I used to work. City of St. Paul had a tuition reimbursement policy. And it was an actual official policy. They had so many dollars that you could take in tuition reimbursement a year. That you had to pay for the class, they would reimburse you that. That was their policy. You had to take the class, you had to show that you passed it. And then, and I used that for some of my fire classes back in the day, because I had to prepay on some of the other classes, I had to prepay because I had an apprenticeship program. It's just one way of doing it. Granted, that's a metro big city thing, but there are those kind of policies out there.
Yeah, and a lot of the communities are, most of the continuing education things that I see people attending are not long-term classes. They are 1 or 2, we're gonna go for an afternoon to a seminar on something, or we're going for the clerk's conference or something like that. So I'm not sure where you would have a large capital investment in something. I'm not sure where you would not be able to have it pre-approved by by the city council.
My thing is get the list of classes that we can pre-approve if they're, and they're under $1,000, and those are they just gotta let us know that they're gonna do them. That, if you get, a list of classes, I'm fine with that. I saw all of a sudden take a class on underwater basket weaving and it's $10,000. No, I want under 1,000, da-da-da, we pre-approve, that kind of thing. And then we get that, and then we can look at the other ones on a case-by-case basis. But again, have a list of what is appropriate for their job titles to be taking, because certainly I'm not looking for the city clerk to take a class on welding. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So let's make sure it's job appropriate, that kind of thing. So that's why I want the list of courses.
Yeah, my question was just, it was approved, to take one class, 750, it's already filled up, there's 30.
I know.
30 applicants, but for him to fork over, he could have signed up for 5 classes, but that's 3,750, plus you got hotel, and you got, pay for his own gas and stuff. I mean, you could be up to $5,000 with,
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
I
Think an employee should have to front that up front, and that's what. No, but that's what I'm saying, for discussion for what do you want the policy limits to be? Because I mean, for someone to fork over $5,000, let's just say, or 4,000, whatever it is, that's a lot of money.
Well, we have one now that's going to college. For months, if not a year. They're not asking us for a penny. So, I mean, that's.
But that's on their own accord going to school.
Exactly, absolutely, right? So, and, I mean, and.
This is related to the job itself, the better the Public Works Department is certifications.
Well, and then we also need to have. Seminars and things like that. And we bought into, you have to do this, you pay for it, do it a class at a time. If you can do it a class at a time. The other part of that too is if they really had the ambition and wanted to do it to further themselves, their career, you know what I mean, then they would be looking at that and saying, yeah. And literally, again, too, it's all about the buy-in, because let's say that the 750 is a 5-week course and 3 weeks into it.
Well, I think you have the buy-in.
Just saying, at the end of that, whatever. Absolutely get nothing. It's a deficit. So if we want to do this, let's talk about putting together whatever this policy is going to be. More discussions on this.
Yeah, it's just discussion.
I think that, for me, I'm not going to change my mind in the fact that long-term thing like this, and it was discussed.
I think we should find what other municipalities' policies and how they reimburse first and then we can look at doing our own, before we jump into any of this other stuff. Honestly.
And beyond that, it will always be.
Every policy has that.
Well, this is more of a 2027 because the classes are already filled up.
I understand, and it's unfortunate that happened. I wish you would have got in. It's unfortunate it happened, but if we have it up, we know what classes we're looking to do, and we have it in that policy, then they can go in and apply for them, and very likely that the city's gonna approve it right away. It is, And if you normally, a lot of classes, if you sign up for a class and pay, but the class hasn't started yet, they will give you your money back, normally.
And I see that as very viable. Okay, discuss cameras at Young Park, that's Mr. Holm, do we want to table this, or?
Well, I think you wanted to upgrade the cameras and take the cameras that we have out there right now and put them in the back.
Back in the woods?
Back in the woods, back trail, because that's possibly where that dog was brought in.
So if we upgrade the cameras, are they gonna require Wi-Fi out there?
I believe so.
Okay.
And I think,
Can we get an expense cost for putting Wi-Fi out there and what camera system? That's what I wanna know, how much this is gonna cost. I think, the cameras we had worked out nice, but I do think we need to upgrade. I think we need to upgrade out there, but,
well, there's getting to be a lot of stuff going on with this.
and when we've got a lot of entrances to that park that are unwatched, and I think it's not a bad idea, but I also don't wanna be Big Brother.
But they have come in handy.
I know,
You know what I mean?
and I.
People are forcing us to become big.
Well, and I think some of it, we just need to some of the things, they just need a good scolding too.
You want to table this to August 5th then?
It's up to you guys, as far as I'm concerned, this.
We discussed it, okay.
You know what
If
I
you
mean,
want-
if we can get numbers on what the Wi-Fi costs are out
And where you want to put we need camera placement, all that kind of stuff. If we're gonna do it, let's do it right, and that way we don't have to revisit it.
But I mean, are you just talking about replacing the ones that are
So-
up right now? Or
The ones you got up right now are basically, just outdoor
Yeah,
game cameras. Those can go in the back in those areas, but in the parking lot, I think we need something that is
clear.
clear and possibly movable. So if you see something, you can turn and they follow the motion. I mean, if we're gonna do it, let's take a look at, give us our options, something that really works, something that works pretty good, and just your basic. If we can get 3 different options.
Yeah, the ones we have out there are pretty.
Well, they showed us a white truck and they showed us a gold truck. Yeah. That was all we needed
Red one too.
to find out who that,
Yeah.
who those
We'll talk,
people are.
Talk more.
All right, let's see here, discuss, approve, disapprove quotes for tree removal in the rain garden.
Yeah, we got that tree out in the rain garden and it's up against the fence and it's just, I believe it's too big for our crew to handle. I think we need to get somebody in there that has equipment that can, lift some of that stuff out of the way. Cause it's right against a fence.
yeah.
You got
You got quotes, say,
3,250.
Oh, you
well, the Jake's Tree Service one was 1,500, right?
Yes.
That was the cheapest one.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion for Jake's Tree Service and
I'll second that
Motion
motion.
and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Discuss, approve, disapprove, discontinuing tracking.
Yeah, so I'm just revisiting this. Do we need to continue doing this now? I mean, the clerk, deputy clerk, public works been doing it. I know you were doing it. For me, I'm good with it.
What changed? I thought we were gonna do it for 12 to 18 months.
I think, for me, I seen enough of data. That's why I was bringing it up. I just wanted the consensus. If you want more, I'm fine with that. I'm just bringing it up.
I think, well, the stuff from Public Works, and I would really actually like to see, back when we had the discussion in January, you were gonna have them set up an Excel sheet. Did you do that?
They had Google Docs, I think they were sharing.
Right, but I have no way of taking a look.
They have it back there if you want to look at it.
Well, I think that, the clerks and the fire chief at that time got sent to the clerk and it got sent to our email so we could just look at it. And they were Excel, and in that January discussion, that was gonna be set up an Excel spreadsheet. I would like to find the 12 to 18 months, because it would be nice to know where, in Public Works or clerk, I know the clerk's things are all over the place. And the fire department, you could see in the stuff you got from me for the last 6 months over there, where I was doing stuff, but I think that should continue on for, we were testing it for 12 to 18 months. Let's do it for the whole year and see what the data, and then we can put it in a sheet and say, okay, these are where we're spending our time at. That's why I think we should continue it. If we start it, let's finish it to the end.
Because it would be nice to get a whole year over and over and over again. How many hours do we need to staff? Snow plowing, that's gonna be every snowfall that might be. But for how many hours do we need to staff?
And they,
Right, and so, and the only way we're gonna do that is to bring this, well, at least 12 months.
Yeah.
so my question, Mr. Mayor Jones, so if we continue this, do we have a thing that we can set up with Adam from Sherburne County, like a SharePoint site where we can put all of our documents out there and that they're visible to the whole staff, instead of having an Excel spreadsheet for fire, and Excel for public works, Excel for you guys? Can we commingle this into like a SharePoint site, a living document, so everybody can?
Have to
Your
talk,
councils,
you'd have to
presidents,
talk to
your
Adam.
councils.
I don't know how soon, I mean, they're very busy down there. I don't know how soon he would be able to
Our
do
IT
that.
staff is limited.
I think we're limited on what we can get from Sherburne County IT at this point to basically any computer emergencies or that kind of thing, not to develop software.
Well, we could talk to them.
We can talk to them, but
Merging 3 Excel spreadsheets, basically.
right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, here's a SharePoint, so everybody has access and they can view, so if you wanna go see what they're doing,
Yeah, and that's all
you
I'm
wanna
asking.
see it, or, you know, wanna see clerk or fire, it's all right there, and we all have access to it, instead of, okay, here's a spreadsheet, well, yeah, you sent that to me in June, whatever, now it's December, you know, and then, you know, it's a updated living document.
Well, and I like, you know,
We have to
Thank-
develop that document though. So
It's
right now they're
Excel
doing
spreadsheet.
calendars, yeah. but-
Google, is it, what are they doing, Outlook calendars? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, the problem is there's only a description.
I thought the Excel worked fine from the fire point, is it gave, you know, what it was and how many hours, and it gave the total. And it automatically updated it, but that's just my point. It'd just be nice to know how many hours in each position that we're spending on this type of work. And then at the end of the year, we can, after 12 months, we can put it in and get a yearly total. See, how much time did we spend mowing grass, or how much time did the chief or the assistant chief spend entering run reports into Image Trend, which is a bear now. It takes 20 minutes for each run. So that is one of those things that I think is important.
They also have the Public Works Department that updates that they give you every month, you know, too, of what jobs they're
Well,
doing
you
as
know,
well.
and that's another thing too, you know, how many hours is spent? And is it worth it? And this is a much deeper
Yeah.
discussion than what you have on the agenda here. If I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna collate that report, things to pick from, if you will. You know what I mean? The guy's gonna spend a few hours doing it.
I'd say, how much does this take them? At least an hour?
About an hour, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just
So-
saying that the question is that necessary? You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's what I'm asking, because he's been doing it, because he was requested by the city council to do it, and he has to have it done by Monday morning,
But I mean, literally
afternoon.
when I was the road guy and there was things going on, what happened, what was going on, as the liaison. That is what these guys. Here's where we need more time, that was the whole report. Force and Terry, write down everything. Now we've gone to something much different. Is that, if Al and Zach talked and he brought back a report for that, would that be? Me, that would be sufficient. Literally, I mean, if our maintenance department is out there doing what they're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
say they are. You know what I mean? We're not getting complaints from the residents and the roads are getting hot. Hey, in the hottest days of the, you know what I mean? Grass is getting mowed.
Well, no, I don't have a problem getting rid of this. It was just previously a town board.
I don't, well, it was, we,
No, to present this, so, I mean, if you want to get rid of it, I'm totally fine with that. Now, you can give the report, you know, what's done, recap it.
summary is fine, a summary is fine, I just think in order the jobs that you're doing, the amount of time you spend on them, and then somehow that we can collate that every month, and then, so we can have a monthly basis, and then do the annual basis, and we can figure out, at least for 1 year, we got an idea of how our city works. And that's same with the fire department, same with the clerks, and as we add more staff.
So just, what you're asking is to have it kind of broke down, keep what we got, but break it down in hours.
Well, yeah, so if you're out doing the
Well,
road
group-
patches, you have how many tons you got, but how many hours were there?
Yeah, oh.
And how many man hours? So you have two people out there. How many man hours did it take to do the roads for, and how long a time frame was this? So is this from the last meeting, or is this, I'm assuming this is from a whole month's worth?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I'm asking. So for the month, you would go, for a month of June, we did this much, and it took this many hours, and blah, blah, blah. And that's where that Excel spreadsheet would.
And you would, I'm sure he has this, you have it broken down by departments, roads, parks, cemetery, trucks and
Right.
equipment and grounds for that particular month. And he just puts a time frame, list of what the main job function of, you know, these, and then just categorize it.
And it's just, jump into some sort of readable document that Joan can then send out to the rest of us to look at.
And I think it would be very simple to set up Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
That's easy. What a great way to deal with numbers. Really, that's what we're talking about. Because, I mean, that list of things that happened over how many hours per day are they?
You put formulas in there.
And that's with the fire department one, that's all it had formulas, and you just punched it in and it would pop it up and boom, and it'd take, 10, you go, each day you go in and punch it in, it'd take you like 10, it'd take you tops 10 minutes, and it would punch in and it'd be done.
With the
It's having problems accessing it, correct?
well, and not only that, but you know what I mean? Might even have 11:30. Anybody that will actually want patching this.
I think he has a breakdown of the hours. He just probably has to format it better.
Yeah, it just has to format it into something that's easy to send out, and,
Got it, yeah?
Yeah, I wrote that.
Okay.
Are we good? We'll leave that as
Yes, so,
discussion?
yeah, it's just
All
discussion.
right, letter E, gentlemen, discuss, approve, disapprove, restitution.
I think, did we get any, we got some prices, but, safety first, still has to go out there and look at the park equipment. Somebody, there is some circumstances.
Kyle Wilson, if you guys want.
Yeah, I think all of us are.
I think we should for that, because I understand it's juveniles, but I think there's some responsibility that I remember
They
when,
started fires on our playground.
yeah, which is technically.
Power coded is what I'm worried about.
Well, and that arson on a public, on a play equipment, well, arson just goes a felony right away. That's the thing. And I understand these juveniles. I want to stop it before it gets worse. And the way to stop it is to say, hey, this is going to cost you or your parents a little bit of.
that a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion. Further discussion, we don't know.
Safety first when they get out there. Yeah.
Motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discuss the tire skid marks at Young Park.
Yeah, so this happens, so my understanding, we have to do some kind of, Joan, was it an ordinance?
That to you and.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yes, basically, we're moving forward. You can, the deputy actually put together for you, and Joan emailed it over to me late this afternoon, sample of various ordinance provisions from quite a few different communities. And you do have the right to adopt something that would make unnecessary acceleration doing the donuts. I'm assuming somebody went on the parking lot and did, okay. Because somebody in our parking lot, we have a big concrete one in front of our office. Wasn't you? I don't know. You did a perfect circle. And it's been 3 years and it's still there, you know?
Tires.
But yes, I could put that together. The question I have for you, because the deputy puts this, suggest if this is going to be the county enforcing this in the future, of course, we know from past practices with the county, they're going to want to adopt their own language. And they want us to adopt it, but they want to use their language, and we'd have to amend their agreement for enforcement. So one of the first part of Deputy Wilson's email is easy. Here's the language. I could put that together and have it ready for you your next meeting. That's simple. The next part is enforcement. We could always enforce it for you, and we would adopt our own language. If you are looking to approach the county about enforcing it, they're probably, like the dog stuff, they're gonna wanna do their own. They wanna have input in the language. So what's your pleasure on that?
Mr. Mayor. My pleasure is to have the county do it, to have deputy talk to these guys and tell them not to do it again, but we need to have the option. Yeah, they, burning out, I mean, there may have been a time when we all were younger and we may have done something like that.
That's me.
Not the mayor, but he was an innocent choir boy. My thing is that I was very happy that when it got out, the perpetrators came forward right away. And I think to have the deputy just say, don't do that again on a public property like that. If you want to do it in your driveway, go right ahead. I don't care about your driveway, but do not do it there. I think we have the ordinance, if we let the county take care of it. The deputy, because a deputy showing up talking to you is, rather than having us do it, is a different ballgame. And I think that's appropriate. That's my opinion.
So just to be clear, as my instructions from the city council is to have either myself or Mark, who was the one historically dealing with the county on those dog ordinances, contact the county, say we have this issue, it's brought to our attention by Deputy Wilson. He had suggested we amend the ordinance, use him as an intro to have you do that enforcement. Would that be something you'd be willing to entertain? And if so, could we modify the contract to add that in there? And do you have language you want us to use, or do you want us to just adopt an ordinance with, and we could, everybody's using basically the same kind of language. So is that the instructions that I have from the council?
I just think, yeah, because nobody really got hurt out there. They didn't, there was no kids at that time in there. I think a good stern talk and like you said,
I think we need.
They came to the sheriff's department and said, hey, I'm the guy, and
But I think why Deputy Wilson is asking for an ordinance amendment and who can enforce it, to give a little bit more oomph
Yes.
to that discussion. That, hey, you realize this is a criminal act, you know, you realize that city could sue you for damages. This could be as part of your criminal, it could be restitution order, you know, this is serious. And also sometimes the kid's parents, you know, it might be kid, I'm assuming it's kid, you know, but sometimes the parents don't get it. So this might be enough to help get the parents involved and educate them. I think that's why Deputy Wilson took the time to put together all of these different samples of what people have done, and he's asking for us in some fashion to do that. I have no problem in doing it, but if the county is going to enforce, and if they say yes, they're willing to do it, then we'd ask them if you have language you want us to use, and we'll put that in place. If the county says, no, we don't want to be involved, then we'll handle it, and we'll put our own ordinance in place and have it ready to go for you next meeting.
Well, hang on, I just want to take a step back here. So spinning tires, doing burnouts, this is vehicle related, it's what the sheriff's department is
Depends.
saying, so because it's on our private property now, that takes it off the street and out of their purview? Is
Yes,
that why we're
that's
doing
why he's raising it. I'm assuming, because I thought that this, in the email, it talked about Young Park. So I'm assuming in the parking lot at Young, exactly what happened in our parking lot, you know, somebody.
You know, but I mean, for the same things, however, though, you know what I mean? Now we have some that are starting fires on our playground. We don't necessarily need to. Here's why I'm having this.
Right.
So I think when we approach them, yes, I think we want.
Yeah.
We need to get involved in this, whatever. I would more say, do we really need to amend the contract? Part of what you would do.
For some reason, the state treats traffic differently than other statutes. It's just the way it is. I mean, if you start a fire, doesn't matter where you start in the state, it goes right there. But if you do a spin out on your own private property and crash, it's your own deal.
Yeah, no, I
So,
agree with that.
and one of my fears here, and why I would like this done, because nothing happened, but for two different scenarios. One, a kid comes running out that they didn't see and they hit him. The other scenario is they lose control while they're spinning out and they run into a light pole and kill themselves.
Or them boulders.
Or them boulders. We need something that they were committing an illegal act on the books to protect the city.
Not necessarily.
This gives it more
Not
teeth.
necessarily. That's why Deputy Wilson is saying, I need you to adopt some language that now gives me the legal basis for issuing a citation to make that. It may be damage to property, but that gives you a cause of action in court to sue somebody for damaging your property. It doesn't give that, it's not a criminal act. Now, because you're the government, you can make it a criminal act. And that's what he is recommending, to give him that authority to talk authoritatively and issue citation, or at least the threat of it. And the difference, I think, with the county is because a lot of the things where the county says we'll enforce and other times they say they don't, they've looked back at history, what they've done for other communities. And so maybe fire and things like that, they have automatically looked at it as arson, they've automatically, prosecuted. I can't tell you what their position's going to be on this. I got the impression from Deputy Wilson's email is that he doesn't believe they will automatically going to be prosecuting this type of action, and he's recommending that we contact the county to ask them if they would. I don't have a problem in doing that, but if we do, historically, they've wanted to adopt their own language.
I wouldn't have a problem with that, would you?
No.
So at this point in time, let's.
I'll make
The dialect.
motion to have Bob talk to the county about getting an ordinance set up.
I'll second that.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Letter G, I have quotes on here for the infrastructure committee, whatnot, on the building, the re-ups and that kind of stuff, and to schedule next meeting for them to go over and discuss this. Dan, what?
Mayor, so having looked at the quotes, obviously this was the information that they were asking for. So, my suggestion would be to direct staff to set up an infrastructure committee meeting for August and send out that information for their review.
Well, that's exactly what I wanted to say. A lot more words.
I'm a flat rate, whether it's, no matter the words, so.
I could have added a lot to that.
All right, is there a motion to approve that or to move that forward?
I make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried. All righty, and then we do have an H on here, and that is park rental. That was
Yeah, this real quick, so I brought this up earlier. So there was a park rental over the weekend. They canceled. The policy states, we need 30 days, and they like to reschedule. So I just wanted to run that by the city council, if you're okay with them rescheduling for another time. And
I think that's appropriate. Myself, we have to, and I don't know how the park rental policy or how that's written, but we should make something for excessive heat or tornado warnings, things like that, where, come on, act of nature that they had no control over, are we gonna hit them for? I think that's appropriate to figure out something that we can adopt to, or at least put the language in there that let us know ASAP if something pops up, like right now, we have the smoke that came down, and, you don't want a bunch of people out there breathing in that smoke kind of deal either, so.
But what it says real quick, it just says cancellation refund, picnic reservations and field tournament reservations will not be refunded due to rain or inclement weather. All reservations apply to cancel policy. 30 days or more in advance of rental date, 80% refund. Less than 30 days in advance of rental date, no refund. A $10 administrative fee will be charged to all refunds. So that's what we got for the cancellation. This was Saturday, call at 8 p.m. The rental was at noon
Yeah.
on Sunday, the following day. So if you guys are okay with that, but you can look at redoing something like that, but that's what the policy currently states.
Yeah, and I think we change it. There are certain situations that tornado,
Well, the smoke, for
inclement
instance.
weather, I think we need to change that to a rain is not gonna, get you a refund. But if there's a thunderstorm at the time, or a thunderstorm with lightning, tornado, high winds, things like that, we don't want to get anybody killed out there.
For instance, that point, I think there was a park rental scheduled for tomorrow, and I think they will be canceling due to the smoke fires.
Smoke and excessive heat, we got a double whammy there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think we should be flexible with that a little bit, because they're,
So that's a motion to approve scheduling.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that one. Just wanted to run it by you guys.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. We can't do anything about the one that we know is.
Yep, but I think we can maybe add this to the park committee tomorrow meeting
So, and
about
this
the
is-
other stuff.
Then I would also entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further
You're in there.
discussion? None. Aye. All those in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion
Yep.
Announcements, July 14th to the 28th, the filing period opens for municipal office. 4-year term and 2 positions for city council, 4-year term. From July 14th to the 28th, one thing that would be added on, or at least spoken of at this point in time, because by the next meeting, July 30th is the last. Letter B, Park Committee meeting is Thursday, July 16th, 7 p.m. Planning Commission meeting is Wednesday, July 22, sorry, at 7 p.m. August 5th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Primary election is Tuesday. Polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. National Night Out, August 4th, 2026, at Baldwin City Hall. Baldwin Fire Dance is August 29th, 2026. H. Baldwin Fire Department Open House, 12th, 2026. Baldwin Fun Fest is September 29th, 2026. 3 p.m. Park.
Just, you want to
Oh, I
go,
was just a fire department garage sales going on too.
yeah, till, what, Saturday at noon or something like that?
Yeah, saw this, that too.
Just to be aware, on the spreadsheet that Kayla did, one of the numbers didn't click for the clerk. The 15%, it didn't change that, but her wage rate was different. So, we approved 15%, so that it doesn't matter, but the wage rate was different. It was, I think it was 39 something in there, and it actually is 41. 41.
Kayla has that spreadsheet, correct, with the formulas?
She has it, and Joan has it now.
So can we just, not reinventing the wheel then, could the maintenance department be plugged into that as well?
Yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be any issue. Well, I think you need to get rid of the 17 and the 1 and all that, but
Yeah.
we can make a spreadsheet with, the question is, do you want a spreadsheet with steps in it? And we can put those steps in there and make that, so it's, all FTEs should be on a schedule that is attached appendix, so that's my opinion. That way, hey, what's our scale and where are we going? These are the things I gotta do. Now, I believe that needs to be amended for the steps as we go forward and say, okay, if you hit 5 years, what have you done to, get that automatic 5% increase at 5 years? That kind of thing. Now, that's separate from the annual cost of living increase that we do separately. Just FYI.
No, I think Joan had a question on that.
So that's something too, I mean, along with that, if we're gonna do it right, I think that we need to maybe discuss steps in with that. So before we add Public Works into there, I think that we should, the steps, because I've heard that we've talked about that for a while, getting the step increases together and what you need to.
Well, and
Instead of just plugging Public Works in there, I think we should do it.
we have to agree what the steps are. The steps got put in there at 5%. We have to agree what the steps should be and how many steps. But we can work on it. If this city council is willing to let me, I will work with Joan and Kayla and get the spreadsheet set up, get the steps set up, get it out, and everybody can take a look at it and see what you think.
Thank you.
With the plan of including everybody.
Correct.
They miss me anyway. I haven't been over here that much lately.
All righty, is there any other business?
Thank you. What do you think of the Major League game last, All-Star game?
I didn't even see it, I was at a meeting.
Oh, were you?
Call me when you're ready to work on that.
Three hit them.
Joe Ryan looked really good.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
We were at the game on Saturday.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, Ryan pitched.
Yeah, I thought I had that stuff from,
There's a question when I talked to Joe.
I don't, but I lost it.
Okay.
It's like you said, why we created
I
it.
just wanted to
Out of one was a line of credit. Never really had a line of credit. Tried to get one from.
they need to amend their insurance.
Had a credit score.
So
US Bank said they would. I gave them $400,000 in securities.
I'm waiting.
So you don't even have to go on instead.
Forget about it. I see you tonight. I don't want to, because you later, that's why you email me.
Went right through me.
Say hi, Chris.
I did.
I just.
Okay. And that, Joan, you know.
But you're working with Sam on that, correct?
Yeah.
The line of credit?
Oh, Val.
Yeah. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
Have that Sam.
Yeah. So you basically have the two accounts.
I have two
over the
accounts,
term.
but they're both cash accounts.
Correct.
But neither one of them's a line of credit. I tried to get a line of credit. Several banks.
Yep.
I don't know how
So,
other developers do it, but I couldn't get one.
sure. And basically what we had made a motion was for your escrow to be reduced down to 3,000.
I know, I'm still.
So I don't know if that.
You're on the fence.
Check.
Yeah, you have that.
That's the thing.
The one check was for $23,000.
Yeah.
Well, there's still $52,000 in the other escrow account.
So that one needs to be reduced as well.
Yeah.
So we're working on that.
So you have to do.
I mean, that calls to run for.
So it,
Fuck.
It should be, yes.
it should be down to 10% of that original value.
Okay.
Because the amount was approved.
I heard.
We're working on that yet, but it should be coming up. We'll get it.
Any other questions that I could answer?
Oh, here, might as well go.
Like I said on the phone,
I'm gonna be gone this week.
I kind of brought
That
the
was,
list of work we're still wanting to see done, so.
Yeah, I did take pictures.
what's, Gilligan's Island?
Yeah, 3-hour tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where.
Almost with the missus. Work-wise, it's,
Thank you.
Ready?
Get the notice, I think.
The one is at the south end.
That's where these pictures are the two culverts where that cul-de-sac starts, where the road starts.
Sure.
So I'm not sure what.
I think what would be best or great if me and you can set up a time.
Sure.
to Meet out
Meet
there.
you out there.
Yeah.
Is that okay with
That
you?
was the one that,
No, or Smoky.
you were gonna scan this.
well, you
email
get
to me, I was
older.
gonna call
Oh, you
you.
wanna do
At 3
that?
o'clock and I start
Yeah.
You
thinking
can
about
call him or
work.
I can go.
I dream about work.
Yeah, and then,
Walk through the site.
then, city council stuff comes up, it's like a double whammy.
Yeah, it's
This old heart of
be
mine
reduced.
can't, you know, I'm doing lyrics here.
Yeah. For 4 more years.
The lowest that can be reduced to is 10%.
65.
Correct. We hold on that for the 2 years.
I just want to make 58.
Yours is up. Reverse all that, assuming the work we have left is completed.
So the $3,000.
Come home for these meetings, there's a sign on the door.
Sample.
Not put on there,
1,000
son's
room
room's available, not
Okay.
anymore, he moves all.
Took all the stuff.
They're moving out this, I
Hold
moved her in,
on.
started moving her
Another
yesterday.
one is for
Public,
construction.
yeah.
He's gonna live with them and help.
You get all that stuff done that we're talking about.
Right now, it's a full house, it's freaking musical cars,
Kind of just in case the city has to.
her battery died today, comes in, I'm in meetings,
Well,
Dad,
this isn't about me, it's about.
Jake, where's your car? Oh, I can't take the Tahoe, it needs a recharge.
End of August.
Gotta take the GMC that the air is broke, I'm not investing money into it.
I do think.
What?
Helps a lot.
It's a free car.
A Gator with a big tank on the back. So I
Okay.
can-
So I'll send you.
Got like 6 cars, I can be a used car salesman right now. I got
Yeah, that
6
helps.
cars, fiance's car, my daughter's car, Junior's car, Jeep, my Tahoe, and the Fusion.
Responsible for all of it.
Sure.
Yeah, oh, I donated the,
I mean, we planned it so if we needed.
there's a gal that works at the
DMV?
So,
Putting adding, developing that
Her
land.
husband's running for mayor.
yeah,
So is there a problem?
I didn't ask, I didn't want to,
think
you know, she had.
most
there's a
cases,
line.
if cul-de-sac stay. Until
Looks
developed.
at my team.
I don't think you can get rid of it. We mainly put them in for.
It's never good, is it?
No. Are you Baldwin? Yes.
Developed in 20 years.
So, no, as far as I'm aware, I don't know.
Yeah, attorney already looked
Yeah.
at
Do you know Ava pays
just
for
an
a
easy
toll for her
word
car?
I guess.
And the clutch went out, and I said, yeah.
A lot of times,
I mean, that's a lot of money.
I use
for
that
her.
too, like in, if you have
To
curb,
dip into her like emergency savings. I'm
get
like,
out
yeah.
bituminous,
As a petting zoo.
that's kind of a
They're like, yeah.
full temporary
That's,
fund.
that was an emergency.
Yeah, they're like Capital One.
But if it does get expanded, we call it
I
temporary.
got the wedding coming up next year.
But
Okay.
And all my friends, you're a banker, Rush, I expect open bar all day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Because,
I know that they took our, they went to the road.
Yep.
They, you know. What about the
How does Fun Fest work? Is that sponsored by
or
us?
grass on the side of the road?
Yeah.
Do that still?
I'll send this
that's
to
a
you.
good question. I'll probably have to review your document.
Then we can talk.
I know the road
All I got.
plowing, the city would probably handle it.
Easy.
Last year I noted.
Yeah. I would think just cause, I would think it'd be on you just cause you still have
Throwing
that.
stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go to Jay.
I'm working with, Prairie League.
What's that?
Prairie League, they go with the prairie grass.
Oh, okay.
They like to have.
And Joan, I'm in the office all day tomorrow.
That's who you hired?
I've been around a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
They,
oh,
I didn't realize how bad the smoke was until I went outside this afternoon.
Yeah, I know.
What the heck?
a lot of that.
I did run a bunch of running around this afternoon. I started getting.
yeah, I mean,
One thing I don't
like I said, it was just some of the ditch areas we're seeing.
Go away.
Last fall when I see.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's,
You know,
like I
that
said,
we're
if
up
we-
in Ely and it's like, you.
Yeah.
You guys, this is all
Yes,
the
so I
fire
think
department payroll, so you should probably
School
initial
should
all
be getting
these.
reduced, and then we'll work on
Jay?
it.
No way to, you know.
Turn it around
We
again.
got initial them all? Oh,
That's all.
Did you
okay.
guys find the guy, that somebody, yes?
So these copies aren't $1.75.
Basically, we put it on the Facebook page, whatnot, the camera or whatever, then we got a call. One that driving a white truck is this, one that driving a white truck is this name, whatever. That went kind of viral. All it took, whatever. Called the sheriff's department.
Just saying, the Facebook, the social media was very negative about us doing anything to those folks, other. I know, I guess.
They confessed.
No. Oh, yeah. Oh, make the rest over in their spots, right? They're out there.
Oh, it's not too
I think you wanna get into politics, that's all.
Oh. I'm slowly learning.
Move the Baldwin and take my seat.
That'd be conflict of interest.
Oh, we know how to handle those.
Yeah, actually we do.
You got 2 years left, though, you just said.
Yeah. You got time.
So I got 2 years to move.
Yeah, you got time.
That's
You
true.
got time.
Believe it or not, we almost bought a house in Zimmerman.
Really?
But it was technically Baldwin.
Nice.
I was almost a Baldwin resident.
Okay. Really? Yeah, they get that bridge done
Hey, Val.
Hey, Val, don't we got his check in here?
at,
That wasn't sent last
It's been
time.
done and
We got it?
it's gonna
I had
change.
looked, 'cause it wasn't approved last time.
See what happens here.
Haven't seen it
Come on,
yet.
Al, quicker.
I know. Oh, the sheets here. Well, she told me they all had to be signed, so I'm looking them over.
You're Champlain, right?
No, we're out of Anoka, but I live in St. Michael.
Oh, St. Michael.
Good thing I glanced at, my check over there, cause there was
What a,
almost a $2,000.
what a space aliens on him.
Oh, yeah, I
I
drove
had
by
to
your
run back
office.
over and
Yeah.
get it
Every
corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, guys, you
Probably
gotta
saw the
check,
guy doing the
you
donut.
gotta check those,
Might have been me.
you gotta check it like 2-3 times.
Yeah, it
And make sure each number made sense.
yeah.
wasn't just somebody, rushed it. One perfect O and.
That's good, that's
So
it.
in other words, you're saying they gave you a bonus.
No, they gave me
Crazy.
Just now starting to
$250.
Yep, we'll have to get confirmation from Sam.
They had me working for 1 month instead of 5 months.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for staying through the whole meeting.
I was like, okay, Nicole started this 1 month ago and I got exactly the same hours and exactly the same days.
Now the fire department stuff is.
Were you through what you wanted to say?
No, I just, you know what I'm looking for, just something on that that says anybody, it looks like.
Finding mine.
I didn't pay yours.
My contract to be, is
I had revisions to it, so I had to.
none of those documents that they sent over said.
No.
There's,
Answer any calls tomorrow.
Yeah.
I will never hear the end of that.
Yeah, normally you see it.
Had you guys been in the building over there? The fire department?
Saw pictures on Facebook for the garage sale.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff in there.
I went over there to stop
how much is
there.
last year?
I went in there yesterday for the fire department meeting.
You see Cal Watson say thank you because he goes in his out back, looks around, well, I'll take that up there. He took up a trailer that he's had since he got married and they never
I
gave
wasn't
up.
blowing it off or anything. It's just-
Put that at the garage sale and they got $300 for that and then he
Don't
put
tell
a
Mike.
car
I
up
won't
there.
tell Mike.
I'll meet you for lunch tomorrow where?
Well, I seen a car sitting out there. That was his?
You know, Mike
Yep,
doesn't
it's for
like
sale.
this. You know, I'll meet you for space
Holes in
aliens.
that black
Which
coat.
Mexican place?
$2,500 in cars.
Okay.
Garage
I didn't know if
sale.
you meant like halfway, like
Anything
the,
over that.
I was thinking of the place in Albertville that's just on the west side of 94 there.
Little hut.
That's a
If you see that
cartel.
black couch, that's mine.
Literally,
A couch? They're not supposed to have couches.
Well, it's a nice
according to the
one.
sheriff's deputy sergeant for,
Good tacos.
yeah, they do actually. It's very
I
authentic.
dropped it off, they go, oh, that was selling.
Right across from City
I
Hall.
asked them, you guys too?
On Hopkins and Anderson's.
That little yellow
Oh, yellow
Yeah.
place, yeah.
They said, or else we'll put this in our break room.
Years ago.
Well,
I know, I never
because
grabbed it,
usually
When he's not-
I would.
It's a front for the Mexican drug cartel.
It's pretty tough with,
So you just get a little.
right now with all the kids. and
That's why
stuff
the
in
tacos
there.
are so good.
Yeah, the only thing
hands
wrong with it, on the scene,
Yeah, so
The dog
Costco
went
is
up
going
there,
in the old Heidi's
barking out
Market
the
right next to
window,
it.
and his nail.
Well, Costco wanted to go
toward the
talk to
scene
them
a
and
little
buy
bit.
it out,
So
so the
you
cartel
got
also
furniture
has
You
those
can't even
properties
tell.
there too. So
So that's the only
the
thing.
sergeant's like,
I asked my daughter, you want it?
yeah, where they have like
No.
a detail shop
She's
in there
picking
and some
it.
other
My
shit.
son, Dad, I'll take it, but I don't have a home.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's all.
I put it in her basement.
It's supposed to
You don't want
be-
nothing.
Evidently, they
Yeah.
already
My crank.
asked for permission to start the gas pump.
They,
Yes,
they couldn't,
they did,
they
and
couldn't
they were
even
told
tell
no.
until I pointed it out to them. This
I
is,
know Albertville was lobbying heavily.
that one in my pole barn, my wife.
Thank you for.
Like,
Yeah, they're advertising their opening
on-
on August
Otherwise,
14th.
put it on
and we're
Facebook
like,
Marketplace. My wife
"Hey,
keeps
if that
finding,
road is open, are you?
I keep saying no.
That's a
we're not.
mess.
oh, she's buying?
Well, she wants to buy it, but I said, we're gonna finish our remodel
It would be
first.
nice to have that.
And see what we actually need
Gentlemen, I need
before we
a
start.
motion to approve bills for payment.
296, 26, 5,900. $5,220. 7 EFT payments. $1,990. Also approving the check for $5.90. All I have here does not include the one for $38,077.
Motion approved.
Second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
Motion carries. We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned at 9:44.
Want me to get yours out?
I've been golfing, I'm going golfing twice next week, spending every weekend at the cabin, fishing and running around, and, yeah, I just have to, when you're done with that, you have to get yourself away, and that's what I'm doing. So, I'm trying anyway.
No, good. It's
So,
hard.
well, and they need to stand on their own over there.
Sam,
So, we'll see. Like I was saying, my check was almost $2,000. One red check.
I'm sorry?
My check was almost a $2,000 error. She put it over there, so. If I had caught it, if I hadn't caught it, then that would have been a big to-do here.
no, I'm just.
Hey, you guys can't rush through the payroll, I'm sorry. Payroll is something sacred. If you mess it up, they're not gonna trust any check you ever do.
Right.
Well, where do you